You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Oh, it's going to be one of those nights. It's already starting out to be one of those nights because this is the 18th time we've had to start this fucking recording because stupid Alec Ransom can't get his shit together. You know why? Because his shit's been drinking car bombs all night long. Me, I've had some car bombs. I've had some Guinness cake. It's an Irish kind of night. No, it's not an Irish kind of night in the WWE because it's a Samoan kind of night. Because once again, motherfucking Roman Reigns shows back up in WWE. Wham! Inserted into the title match. Kaboom! New champion. Why not? Why not give the Fiend the belt for one stupid week and then shove it right back into Roman Reigns' anus? So that all we can do is listen to stupid Michael Cole. Big dog. New champion. Vince Boner. Blah. I'm Alec Ransom. I've had enough of wrestling and technology. It's ruined my life. We're here with the podcast of the pile driving Pittsburghs. Poot the Bard is here. Beast of Legend, he's out for who the hell knows. Another half an hour, another 45 minutes, because he's got some fiddle fucking to do. He's sitting at home, using his sausage fingers, playing with bottle caps, dropping pens on the floor, opening bags of chips, sipping on his low-calorie talking about wrestling. And if you don't agree with what I have to say about wrestling, you can go fuck yourself, because I'm Beast of Legend, and I think about wrestling, and I pick the winners. Even if there's some fucking shenanigans, I'm still going to count it as a win for myself, because, you know, gotcha. If I'm not the champion, well, what the fuck does it matter? We should just shut this podcast down. Die. You stay away. You stay home. We don't need you on the podcast because we've got, this is the 18th time tonight I've said this stupid sentence, I'm going to vomit. Because we've got the voice of the video game world. We've got the casual gaming dad himself, the Metroid master, the Zelda xylophonist, Tiger Bomb Tom. He's on the podcast with us, and all we're going to do is jack off about how Roman Reigns is the new WW whatever champion. Nope, we're not going to do that. Vince McMahon's going to do that. Because why the hell not? Why give it to the Fiend? Let's put the Fiend in a mid-card match with fucking Ricochet, and they can dress up their fingers like spooky ghosts and touch each other's bum holes with them. You know, that'll be the next stupid Fiend match, the Firefly finger fuck match.
The Firefly finger.
I'm the Fiend, and I have my face drawn on my spooky finger. Oh, well, I'm Ricochet. You can take your spooky finger and you can shove it with the sunshine, baby. Oh, wait, did freaking Velveteen Dream show up in here? Nope. He's too busy freaking trying to get dick pics sent to 15-year-olds. So welcome to the WWE, where all the guys like to show their cocks, and none of the championships make sense.
And none of the points matter.
No, they sure as hell don't. Because the only thing that
Wow.
matters is Roman Reigns is back, and he's the goddamn champion. Can we please? Do we have to?
Unfortunately,
I
apparently so.
am willing, and I'm only going to say this little bit. I am willing to see where this goes with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece and Roman Reigns being a fucking heel. I'm willing
Tell you
to...
where it's going to go. The only place it can go is up. Because he can't get any lower. Roman Reigns already shows up and is immensely booed. This is their Hail Mary with him. Let's put the belt on him. Let's put Paul Heyman with him. Let's make him edgy. And, you know, mean old Romy. Let's do that. Let's see what happens.
Well, I will
There's
say
nothing
this.
else they can do. I'm going to poop my pants. I'm so upset.
I will say this. I'm willing to. I'm really curious to see the reaction that he gets come SmackDown, because I haven't been watching, and it would fucking figure that I stopped watching because the Fiend lost the title to Goldberg, and then when I start, and then I'm like, okay, like, you know, I might start having a little bit of time now that the kids are doing online school, like for the rest of this month. So Tuesdays and Thursdays during the day, I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck here at home. I can't go run errands. I have to do stuff around here. I actually have time to catch up on a little bit of wrestling. So I'm like, all right, I'll start watching this stuff. And then boom, fucking Roman happens. So go figure.
You know, you are the common denominator here.
No.
Tiger Bomb Tom shows up. The Fiend loses the title to Goldberg.
Oh, no,
Tiger Bomb Tom goes away.
No.
The Fiend freaking wins the title back. Tiger Bomb Tom shows back up again. Wham! Roman Reigns beats the freaking Fiend for the stupid title.
I object, kind sir.
I'm so sweaty.
I was around long before fucking Oldberg decided to throw his big fucking old man balls and politicking around and say, "I want the title."
Yeah, so what helped for you? Why aren't you helping the Fiend get over here?
I don't know. I've been trying to.
Fucking Illuminati confirmed. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Tiger Bomb Tom, advocate for Goldberg, confirmed.
Oh god, I'm gonna have a fucking stroke. Oh god, yeah.
Confirmed. Yep, that's confirmed.
Tiger
Goldberg, Tom Bomb confirmed.
Oh, you shut your
Tiger
horse.
Jackhammer.
No.
Tom Bomb confirmed.
No.
Tiger Spear confirmed.
Confirmed.
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna stroke out. Please stop. Please.
Bill
whoa,
how are you doing today?
We don't need to know what you're doing.
No. See, it's always Poot. Never. I didn't bring up my tripod. It's always Poot that references it first.
Not
always.
I didn't say anything about your tripod. You just did, buddy.
All right, listen. We're getting off course here. We were talking about Roman Reigns, and then suddenly Bill Tigerberg decided to go on a tangent.
No.
So let's reel it back in. Tigerberg, Tom.
Listen.
Tigerberg.
That is gross and unjust. Much like Beef the Legend trying to weasel the Cruiserweight title away from you guys. And I will say this. But don't call it a comeback. But I'm back here because I want to see justice for this fucking title. I don't care if I'm not even in the title hunt. I don't give a shit. I have a completely unbiased allegiance here or anything. I have no allegiances.
Tripod Tom is above belts.
Just get with him. I have lost all patience with trying to reason with that man in any aspect or any form of an argument, whether it's over the stupid pretend title belt that we argue about on this dumb show or anything else in life. It's a losing battle trying to pose an argument to this man. Forget it.
Speaking of which,
gentlemen, have no fear. Your podcast is saved.
Okay. Well, we had a great first 9-minute run of this podcast, but now it's fucking ruined.
Yep.
Listen,
ruined, spoiled.
You know what? The podcast was saved once I came back on to demand a fair and just picks system for the title.
I'm telling you, don't. We should just make a decree now. Give it to Beef. Never mention it again. Because trying to pose an argument or imply logic in any form or fashion with this man is pointless. Over the title belt, over anything else in life, once his stupid mind is made up on something, I'm fucking right and you're fucking wrong and you can go eat my asshole. I'm not listening to any motherfucking thing. If you say Jim Cornette, Beef the Legend, hugging it out in the bathroom, bing, bong, bang.
Hi, Beef, welcome.
Man.
Just shut
You're
it
the
down.
worst.
You're the worst. I'm so
Bringing
sweaty.
Oh,
Beef
hasn't said a word. He's just sitting there and he's just frowning. Well,
he's just dismissing everything I'm saying because he's like, well, fuck you. You don't have to be right about no goddamn thing. I'm not listening to what fucking argument you had to say because my mind's already made up. So suck on my teeny weeny banini.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Well,
there you are.
So
anyway,
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I picked the winner of the match.
You did not.
Okay,
No, you didn't.
okay. I apologize. I picked a winner of the match.
No, you didn't.
No, there was no winner. It was a draw.
It was a draw. That is a no contest.
Okay,
hey, we go by what the Wikipedia says. So did the Wikipedia say it was a draw?
There's no Wikipedia page for a random NXT.
Well, then there's no discernible winner because on the
this wasn't a random NXT. It was
this
Tuesday Night Tit Destroyer.
The whole thing that started this argument was the fact that the Wikipedia says that Seth Rollins won the match. The Wikipedia says that we go by Wikipedia rules. So what happens when there's no Wikipedia to tell us what to do?
I don't know. Everyone panic. Everyone panic.
Burn up the server.
I'll say it again. I'm up by 2 matches on you schlubs. I watch AEW week in and week out. I know my shit. I am fine conceding this match. If you guys want to pick NXT next week, we can pick NXT next week too. Whatever. But I have no doubt in my mind that after AEW All Out is over, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. I can pick fucking Dominic Dijakovic as the winner of next week's championship match, and it's not going to fucking matter.
Wow.
Look at
I'm telling you, just
says the man.
Entire fucking shtick. Say he's the goddamn Infinity Champion. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Belt. Give it to him and just shut up about it.
I haven't held this fucking title.
Put some bass in your voice, Cornette.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if Beef gets it. He's going to have, yet again, the shortest title run because we know who's going to get it back on the next go-around.
That's right, you do.
Pray for a Poot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it for a fucking month, and then Poot's going to win it back at Night of Champions.
Hey, look, fucking Beef the Legend is pretty much the same thing as the Fiend. Drop their cup of coffee and lose to the Roman Reigns of this podcast, which is Poot the Bard.
Hey, listen, let's not say things.
Pretty good segue.
Let's not say things.
Pretty good segue, right?
Well, we were starting to talk about that anyways before you showed up, but
we talked about it
things,
before you bottle cap flubbed your way in here.
Let's not say things we can't take back and discernible
it's the big
disservice
Bard
to the Fiend. But here's my thing with Roman. When it comes to all this, I want to see what the reaction's going to be because much like whenever he went away from the issues with leukemia and stuff, and he had to relinquish the Universal title then, he came back and, he was, everybody was cool with him for like a hot minute, but then it was like back to, well, we're shoving Roman Reigns down your throat. Maybe the fact that he's been gone for all this time, maybe he won't, they're not gonna, I don't know. My whole thing is like I wish I don't care that the fact that they put the title on him at some point or another. I just wish they would have waited a little bit and let it breathe a little bit and wait until Survivor Series. I think it's too soon, too fast because it's going to go.
Here's
right
the
back.
thing.
It's
no such thing as too soon, too fast.
Interrupting Beef Driver Beef Cast. Hold your fucking horses, man.
We're the tag team interrupters.
I'm
high five, Beef.
I'm here for like a hot minute, so let me get my piece out.
Yeah, and it's already been a fucking too fucking hot. So go ahead, Tom.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Here we go. Anyways,
I love it when I'm not the only one that's spicy on these podcasts.
My point is they shouldn't have put it back on Roman so quickly because they're very dangerous into falling back into the whole Roman's here. We're going to shove him down your throats. Everybody's going to revolt against him. Nobody's going to be behind Roman, whether he's face or heel. Is it interesting that he's got Paul Heyman by his side? Yeah. I'd like to see where they take it. But I think they could have done it without the title. Regardless if he was face or heel, the money would have been in the chase for Roman trying to get that title. And they should have waited until Survivor Series. That was the point I wanted to make. Now feel free to interrupt.
Now, look.
Fake news. Here's the thing. Here's why they had to pull the trigger on him, because he's a heel. If he even if he were just a smarmy face, you're 100% correct. The money's in the chase, but he's a heel. So he's doing heel things. He comes out with Paul Heyman, heel thing. Waits for the Fiend and Strowman to obliterate themselves, and then introduces himself in a match. Heel thing. Got the fucking goatee and the smarmy, heel thing. But the internet smarks. How do you get them to turn on Roman? I mean, obviously by pushing him down our throat. So to me, this is just another way to garner heat. This is like a new way to garner heat. So I'm fine with it, to be honest with you. Like I hate to see the Fiend be the butt of this joke. But realistically, like if they're gonna pull off this Reigns heel run, this is a great way to start it.
I'm still gonna stand by the statement, and I understand that it doesn't make it better that the Fiend only held the belt again for 1 week, okay? but I tried to go out on a limb and say that the Fiend was gonna retain and have I was like, okay, they're gonna probably make Roman the smarmy face, like the tweener, they're going to try and make him stone cold cool. They're going to try and do that. And I was like, because the money's not in the chase for Roman, the money's in the merchandise. And every kid in the world is going to want wreck everyone and leave shirts. You know what I mean? So, I thought that way, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want all the picks to be the same because we can all admit this past pay-per-view, it was all pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious-y. Like Payback was just like, it was pretty academic. But regardless, the reason that like Strowman being in the match, I'm like, okay, Strowman's going to eat the pin for either The Fiend or Roman, like one of the two. And I should have known better that it was going to be Roman. But it really objectively, we've talked about it so many times. The Fiend didn't take a pin. The Fiend didn't look weak, like in that match, really, other than he lost the belt because someone else got pinned. That doesn't immediately mean he's getting buried. I'm looking forward to, even though it's probably going to end up with Roman going over, I'm looking forward to the Fiend Roman feud.
Is that confirmed?
It's gonna happen eventually because the Fiend holds a goddamn grudge. Hey,
here's the thing with the Fiend, and we said this even last year, once everything kind of started getting into full swing with Hell in a Cell, is that they shouldn't have put the title on him so quickly because you can only go down from there. You know what I mean? Like in our eyes, like, oh, they put the title on him, they hot potato it on and off. You know, it quote unquote makes him look weak in that sense, but he's still a pervasive force. Like, I get that. I'm glad that they didn't just abandon the character altogether. I will say, even though I have not been watching since fucking before WrestleMania, I've been, trying to keep up with things here and there. I've watched NXT and AEW both from the last two nights, but in regards to the Fiend, I do like what they've been doing over the last couple of months with like kind of integrating all three of his personas, almost like a la like Super Mick Foley sort of way. Like you have sweater Bray, you have the Swamp Wizard Bray, and then when you need to pull out when he really needs to fucking take it to that next level, then you get the Fiend. Like I liked seeing the one thing at the end of the match between Fiend and Strowman at SummerSlam, when Strowman looks at me, he goes, "Why won't you die?" And I'm like, because he's the Fiend. That's why. Like, he's just this ever persistent, pervasive force. So
yeah, pretty much Matt Hardy.
Yes, wonderful.
So look, here, I've got something to say.
Go ahead.
Even if the Fiend gets a rematch for this title, that's a foregone conclusion of what's happening. He's not going to win. Roman's going to carry this belt till Mania. The Fiend's not going to take the title back. So if they don't give the Fiend a rematch, it's like, okay, CM Punk said it best. Now what? Now what? Roman Reigns shows back up, takes the title away from the Fiend. Now what? If the Fiend does get a rematch, he's not going to win. It's going to stay on Roman. So again, what's the point? Now what? So either the Fiend doesn't get a rematch and now what? Or the Fiend does get a rematch and loses to Roman Reigns. Heel Reigns or not, the Fiend's going to lose.
I don't, man.
So shut up. I'm not done. That's a Debbie Downer. Second, take on Roman Reigns. I feel like this is the only thing that they had left to do with him. When the man comes back from winning a battle with leukemia, that's a cancer. Let's just, throw it out there. When he comes back from beating that, and within a couple weeks, the crowd turns on him. This man has a victory over cancer and can't even stay a face. There's nothing left to do but to try to turn him heel. The fans are going to boo him anyway. Whether he's Superman, Roman Reigns, good guy persona, John Cena, The Rock 2.0, he's going to get booed. So why not throw him with Heyman? Because, hell, if you want somebody to get over as a heel, you put Heyman with him. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, freaking Curtis Axe, driver handle basher, stupid-ass Ryback. We want all these guys to get over as heels. Put Heyman with him. Put Heyman with him. He can do anything. That's the only option they had left. Throw Heyman with him. Brock's out. Who knows when he's going to come back, if ever.
I don't think he will.
And let's make Roman Reigns a heel because people are going to boo him anyway. So this way, at least, if Roman Reigns is a heel, with or without Paul Heyman, doesn't matter. If Roman Reigns is a heel, at least WWE and Vince McMahon are going to get the fans to do what he wants them to do.
Right. Now I have a question. I know Beef has something, and after Beef, I have a question about Roman for you guys. But go ahead, Beef.
So my thought was, this is some fucky shit, because this is basically kind of like the Hart Austin double turn at WrestleMania 13, where the Fiend is like the de facto face, which is weird to me, right? Like, it's weird that the Fiend is a face, right?
Yeah,
not really.
Like,
Is he a face?
Well, if
He's
you're
kind
okay,
of he's kind of an anti-hero, a la Venom. Like, he's somebody who's like, he's a bad guy, but he's so cool you can't help but cheer on him.
Right.
To me, honestly,
yeah, man.
I won't.
No, man.
I will not give WWE much credit, but I'll tell you this: this is actually a swoop of brilliance, because they took note that, hey, the fans are really reacting to the Fiend. The fans are probably going to hate Roman Reigns coming back winning the title. Let's make the Fiend the cool face. Let's make Roman the anti cool face. The badass heel that everybody's been wanting, which I think sets up for a turn, another double turn somewhere down the line. I don't think that they get back at each other immediately, and they shouldn't. I think that they should trade brands, keep them away from each other, and then bring them back together whenever you're ready to fucking pull the trigger and make Roman like a mega face, which I think you can do from a badass heel. But he's got to like keep that edge,
Now, my question that I have about Roman, actually, and it kind of almost segues right off of that, piggybacks. Speaking of the brands and everything like that, I did watch. I kind of watched a little bit of Monday Night Raw. I forget if it was this past week or the week before, and all the bullshit that's going on with Retribution. There's some speculation. Do you guys think that Roman is somehow involved with or behind? Kind of like the exalted one to the to the Retribution, like, because there's some speculation of who might be members of it. Quit fucking clicking your microphone mute, my God. Anyways,
okay, I'll just have a conversation with my mic while you're talking. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Muted on Discord. Anywho, I only say that because God bless Poot, the editing that he was going to have to do at the beginning of this episode before everything went all fucking kaflooey. I know he's having a stroke over there. So
you're welcome.
Yeah, but now, do you guys think that Roman is part of or behind, like, the leadership of Retribution? Because I'm thinking it could be like, the whole wreck everyone, leave. That's basically what Retribution has been doing. It kind of fits. I don't know. What do you think, Poop?
I don't know. I think it would be. I think it would be met with a lot of criticism, because people are going to be like, "Oh, the Dark Order, huh?" Except more militia-y. I feel like I'm interested to see where it's going. I almost don't want to, cast, throw out ideas of, this, that, and the other thing. Do you really think? I don't think with the supposed people that are in Retribution, it would behoove them to have that situation. Guys like Dominik Dijakovic, is one that's all but confirmed at this point. Who's another one? A lot of people are saying
Mia Yim,
Carmella. There was another female from NXT that they were talking about. My point is,
what's her name? She was
Molly Holly.
She was tagging with Aaliyah for a while.
Yeah.
Vanessa Bourne.
Oh no,
Yeah, Vanessa Bourne.
What's
Evan Bourne.
No, what's Matt Cardona's girlfriend?
Chelsea.
Chelsea Green.
Yeah, Chelsea Green. They were talking about Chelsea Green being that, and the only way that I think Chelsea Green could work in that is if they made her the hot mess gimmick again, like to have her be that like unhinged kind of thing.
Well, okay,
but regardless, I don't know. I mean, it could be cool, but the problem is with Roman being with Paul Heyman. Effectively, Paul Heyman would be the leader of that group. Which, I mean, maybe not would be the worst thing in the world to have Paul Heyman be the mouthpiece, or have
Dangerous Alliance,
Yes.
or have Roman be the silent leader sitting in the throne, and he only comes down to enact whenever shit gets real serious, and just have like Paul Heyman be the herald for Roman Reigns. That could be kind of cool, but I just don't know.
You know what? I feel like, honestly, and I can't, it's 2020, so, shit's all fucky anyway.
Dead.
So I can't believe I'm on this side of the fence, but the angle with heel Roman is so hot right now, and Retribution is such a fucking mess. I want those two things to be as far apart as possible. Retribution has done nothing meaningful other than being a stupid, like, almost Antifa organization. It definitely feels like WWE is trying to like get a little bit edgy with the whole political thing, and I feel like it's not gonna work this time. This is not the Attitude Era. Plus the way that this whole like shadow fucking organization is being run and booked is awful. So you know what, like, get rid of it. Just fucking NWO it, because this is Nexus did this better. NWO did it better. Fucking NWO, WCW and the Invasion did it better. This is a poor man's fucking aces and eights. That's right. This is a poor man's aces and eights. The aces and eights did this better.
Okay. How many weeks are we into Retribution though right now? About what, 3, 4?
No,
more
like
than that.
8.
More than that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's been like 2 months.
Okay, so that
Oh, my.
so that brings up another question. Like when we were talking about possible people, I was going to ask who has not been wrestling in NXT for a little while that maybe they kind of like let cool off, so we wouldn't know that, or so we wouldn't expect them around. Because obviously, like we mentioned, Dijakovic, but I just saw Mia Yim wrestle. She was just on TV recently on NXT, so I don't know necessarily that they would have her. But
people think that's like that match was like her swan song in NXT. Like she lost, she put over was it Shotzi? I think one.
Shotzi.
So like she was kind of sitting in the ring like, oh man, what do I do now? Like it definitely felt very like definitive, which is unfortunate because she never really got her run in NXT. But that's okay. They can. I'm not saying that Retribution is fucked. I'm saying that it needs some tender loving care, and they need to like do more.
Right, and hopefully again they won't go for the immediate sense of immediate gratification or whatever, and let it breathe a little bit and like let it develop and get some more shit going on and have some better pick their spots a little bit better. Okay, here's the biggest thing that I've noticed from the bits and pieces that I've heard and what little I've seen here in the last couple of weeks. Here's my overall assessment with the state of things. It's that they have all these little pieces here and here up on this big pegboard and no fucking way to connect the dots. That's exactly what it feels like right now watching WWE on Mondays and Fridays. That's what it feels like. Like they're not finishing stuff out. They're not connecting stories together. They're doing this, and then they decide to fucking take a left at Albuquerque, and then somehow they wind up in fucking New York City. It's like, how the hell did we get to here? I need some context in between,
Well, if things are to be believed with Vince McMahon and his constant showing up and rewriting things, that's not very far-fetched to say that they had a plan for Retribution all laid out. And week after week, Vince comes in and goes, "Nah, I don't want to do that with them. Let's do this instead." So you can't connect those dots anymore.
Well, it's not far-fetched to see where Tom's coming from to see them just, doing the spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks thing. And the problem is, there are two problems that I have with Retribution. Number one, they are dragging this out. And they're trying to make it feel random when it's not random. Like, you know what I mean? It's organized. It's absolute organized chaos. And I understand you're going, well, yeah, that's what a group like that is supposed to be, organized chaos. No, it's like backstage organized chaos. And the other thing that I have is, too, it's supposed, it was reported that Retribution is going to be exclusive to Raw. Just what I want out of my outlaw, rebellious group that can go anywhere and do anything is to be exclusive to one fucking brand.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, they plugged them up on Survivor Series. On the kickoff, they were like, you know, it may have even been at the beginning of the actual honest to God pay-per-view where they're like, here are some clips of Retribution. Sure hope they don't show up. And by God, they didn't show up.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, you have like the second biggest. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
You're fine, man.
Okay, sorry. I know I gave you shit earlier about it, but like that's the thing. Like your supposedly your second biggest pay-per-view of the year after WrestleMania. Why does this rebellious group not show up and fucking wreck house at SummerSlam? Beats the shit out of me. I don't know. Go on.
Because Vince McMahon has no idea what he's doing anymore. I just like it.
Who called Celine Dion to sing?
Thanks, man. I'll take that. So I just don't understand it from the get-go. It felt tacked on and stupid, and then like as they went with it, it felt more tacked on and stupid. When they did the bit with the Fiend and Strowman, where there were like 85 of them, I was like, good God, like we've circumvented the NWO, like where there was the cool phase. They went from like 4 people to like the whole roster in like 2 seconds. So I just they're not doing anything for me, and I will be happy once they're gone.
So, jumping gears, since I was mentioning NXT, being that I actually did watch it, I was pretty pleased with the Fatal 4-Way match, much to Beef's chagrin. But I was kind of surprised that they didn't do the sudden death right then and there that night. But I guess it makes sense in the fact of if you're gonna have it go to sudden death, why not leave it a cliffhanger and get people to tune in next week, because they're still going to be on Tuesday night again, which that is a question that I have. Why are they on Tuesday night?
NHL playoffs. Although I've read that this this past week's ratings, which I didn't see, and next week's ratings go well, they may be a permanent fixture on Tuesday nights, which was weird because like WWE had done everything they can to oppose AEW, but like if they, me personally, I would not mind having a different night so I don't have to fucking like stay up till midnight watching 2 shows. But yeah, I mean, weird. Like the NHL has like never been on USA that I can remember ever, and like all of a sudden USA is like, hey, we're doing the NHL playoffs, and NXT is like, but our brand.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if it was NHL, MLB, or what, because I wasn't sure. I figured something had to have been going on sports wise. So, yeah. But which is
kind of funny, and I ironic because AEW's been preempted the last every so often by the NBA playoffs. So it's like
and they ratings wise, they actually did just about the same as they normally do on Wednesday nights when they were moved to Saturdays. So. But the Thursday night last week I think didn't do as well. Well, yeah. I was gonna say the only I think that's the only night of the week. Correct me if I'm wrong. That there is not like wrestling on is Thursday nights, right? Because Monday is Raw, Tuesdays is NWA Power, and Impact, and these last 2 weeks NXT. Then obviously we have the Wednesday Night Wars, nothing on Thursday. Then Friday night is SmackDown. So I'm surprised that they didn't get better ratings on Thursday night.
It's weird. Who knows? Like it's the whole fucking thing is weird. As far as the Iron Man match goes, I really enjoyed it. I didn't like seeing commercial breaks in there. Like NXT has done it before, where they've had hour-long, bullshit that has not been interrupted. Like, I think if you're going to make a legit shot at trying to make a new night for this, that was the time to do it during an hour-long match.
Yeah.
It didn't take away too much, but I just, like
At
when you
least-
have a big, epic feeling match like that and it's interrupted by TV breaks, it kind of bugs me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they did the picture-in-picture, so I mean, it wasn't a total loss. But I get what you're saying. Like, they tried. I don't know. I don't know I don't know what the deal is with how often that they have to do commercial breaks. I mean, Poot would know something better about this. Being on radio and stuff like that. I'm sure there's like you have like a lot of amount of like commercials that you have to do just to maintain your whatever for the station, their advertising deals that they have with whoever, right?
I mean, kind of, but it's more along the lines of you have an hour, like effectively you break it down into hours, and then on the grand scope, and then you like break it down into segments. So like when they say a segment, they mean it's literally like the segment of an hour, and then you have to get the advertisements that you sold. Like, it's basically when you go to sell advertisements, like when someone who sells ads goes out and says, hey, big company, pay us $1.2 million and we'll run your ad on Raw every we'll run it twice an hour, whatever, right? Basically what you're doing is they're going, here's the money, you're making that agreement. If you do not fulfill that agreement, you may have to pay back a portion of the $1 million or make it up later. And it also goes into like FCC regulations and like, basically what I'm saying is it's an agreement. They have to do it. And so like you can pay, they probably pay less for the picture-in-picture thing. Because you're going to try and focus on the actual action, but their audio and picture is like their picture is bigger and their audio is bigger for the advertisement. So they're getting more real estate. So it's like, okay, normally you'd pay 1.2, but if you want to do the picture-in-picture thing, you're going to be paying $850,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it basically comes down to money. Like you have to do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh man. One other thing, since I did mention an NWA Power, I thought it was really cool to see Thunder Rosa on AEW and actually carrying the NWA Women's Championship with her. I mean, that's something you would never, ever, ever, ever see on WWE programming. They like to pretend that they're, within their own little bubble of the wrestling zeitgeist and, no other wrestling exists. They just say, oh, these people went and worked in Japan or, had worked in other promotions. But like, I like the fact that AEW is just like, yeah, you're the fucking, or AEW was like, you're the NWA Women's Champion. Yeah, you're going to show up here, fucking bring your belt with you. I like that.
Well, and that's the difference is they're trying to break the mold of those like admittedly archaic things. Like, I mean, it's kind of one of those things too. If you have like it kind of goes like hand in hand with the idea of like, you obviously wouldn't want two car dealership ads running right next to each other. Right. You'd want a little bit of space to have people forget and then see the next one. You know what I mean? So then you jockey for position. So it's kind of along the same vein. But,
now, Ransom, you got anything to weigh in on this? Because I have a question for Beef afterwards.
Weigh in on what?
I don't know, anything.
Now,
Good. Okay. So Beef be the AEW connoisseur. My question to you is, with All Out coming up, 1, what the hell is a tooth and nail match? And 2, what the hell is the Mimosa Mayhem match? Please explain this to me.
So the Mimosa Mayhem match is a match that has that can only be won by pinfall, submission, or throwing your opponent into a vat of mimosa.
Yep.
What? Excuse me?
Apparent.
Yep.
You heard
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
So you know that no one's getting pinned or tapping out. Someone's going into that vat of mimosa.
Gotcha.
Full show. Yeah, I mean, I have my questions about it, but at the end of the day, I think that it's something that draws on to the people's most base, what have you. Like, oh, haha, someone took a dunk in a giant vat of, champagne and orange juice, ha ha ha. And it's clever because, a little bit of the bubbly and it's Orange Cassidy and,
Yeah.
I get it. It's clever. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for it, but I mean, it'll serve its purpose. Somebody's gonna get doused in orange juice and mimosa. So it's
Also, let's not split hairs here. That's not a vat of mimosas. It's a vat of fizz bitch.
great. Exactly.
Or,
Absolutely
or Fanta. Or Fanta.
I like.
Oh,
So
And
so
the
there's
tooth
that.
and nail.
Well, obviously, so here's the gimmick with that I know. Swole said that she's gonna get Britt Baker where she works. Obviously, Britt Baker's the dentist, so tooth because she's a dentist.
Yeah.
I think they just threw the tooth and nail in there because they're fighting tooth and nail, to try and
So is it
be
a street
clever.
fight or is it an actual
it sounds
fucking
like it's going
gimmick?
to be a street fight. Yeah, no, it sounds like
Okay.
it's going to be a gimmick because it's not supposed to take place at the arena that I know of. I'm shocked that Britt Baker is like walking around on her fucking leg, much less like, working on it. But I mean, that's what you do whenever you put somebody in a wheelchair for like 3 months. You're like, oh man, they're never gonna walk again, and then they fucking pop up, and you're like, oh shit, they're healed already. Like that's just, it's it's good visual booking,
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest question that I had because again I did watch AEW this week and I saw that when they were running through the announcing all the matches that are going to be on All Out, which it sounds like a really awesome card. I still don't know that I'm necessarily going to get to watch it, but it sounds like overall the matches, just the participants themselves, sound pretty good. I was questionable about whether or not the tooth and nail match was an actual like overbooked gimmick thing or not, like or the Mimosa Mayhem. I was like, okay, how gimmick booked is this, or what the fuck is going on? So yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I get the tooth and nail match because I would imagine that Britt's probably not 100%, and so it's a way to not expose her.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Mimosa Mayhem match, I get it. Like, somebody's gonna be jumped into a giant vat of orange, whatever.
Right.
Whether it's Mimosa, Fanta, whatever. Like, it's gonna cause some guffaws for sure.
Oh no, I get the matches being called what they are. I was just making sure that I was understanding what was actually
Right.
going to be booked as a gimmick and what was just for namesake, calling it, whatever the fuck they want to call it, just for clever word.
Well, and you can't forget about Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match, which who the fuck knows what that means?
I forgot about that. Is it now if Sammy loses, what's the stipulation? Because I know Matt said if he loses, he'll leave AEW. So
There's not one. As far as I know, this is a one-sided affair.
okay,
Like, if Sammy wins, Sammy got one over on me, so.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like if Sammy wins,
Or
Matt-
rather, if Matt wins, that damn Hardy, he got me.
okay, gotcha.
I expect that one to probably get kind of fucky and like cinematic, which is fine. Like that's, I think, something that Matt Hardy is booked for and is perfect for right now, is cinematic stuff. So
Yeah.
Now, I forget. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to throw it back over to Ransom. I couldn't remember if Ransom was the one that shared it in the group chat or if it was Beef that shared it about the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Nah, who cares? Brock has COVID.
Wow.
well, I mean, so I'm less concerned with him. I'm less concerned with him having it because he's a big strong boy. I'm more concerned with his 4-year-old and 2-year-old that have it. Like, that's more disconcerting, I think, than The Rock himself having it.
From all accounts I've heard, they're all recovering well. I didn't know somebody else that had it was Kevin Nash and his family.
Yep.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. Nash, he probably broke his quad too while he had the COVID.
Jesus,
well, yeah, I mean, the only thing COVID's going to do is affect his quad.
Yeah.
But I mean,
whatever.
By all accounts, The Rock was like, "Listen, this was like one of the toughest things I've ever had to deal with, like personally." So I mean, it's a big fucking deal. It may not be the fucking like killer that everybody thinks it is, or that everybody's. But I mean, obviously, if again a big strong boy like The Rock who can fucking like lift up a fucking Mack truck is saying, "Oh man, this, right." Well, sorry, but the bottom line is if the Brahma Bull is having this issue and like he's saying, man, this fucking sucked. Like obviously it's it fucking sucks. So
Look,
but yeah,
I don't want to get into the Pittsburgh COVID Piledriver podcast here. I mean,
right,
but COVID affects everybody differently.
It does.
There were 2 guys at the city fire department that got COVID, had symptoms, tested positive. They were out for 2 weeks. After that, they were back on the job. No complaints, no boo-hoos, no belly aches, back on a job, done. We said, people asked them, how was it? Had a cough, had a sore throat, had a fever. No big deal. It affects everybody differently.
We had an intern who a younger kid at my job.
Was it Jared Listerman?
It wasn't Jared Listerman. We
oh damn.
It was his cousin Ryan.
Speaker box.
Ryan Audienstein. Ryan Audienstein, that's what it was. No, he had he tested positive for COVID, and literally he said he was like, yeah, I thought he was like, I thought it was just my allergies. Like he was that's how mild it was for him. Now that's his case. It was just he's like, I had the sniffles. That was it. And then he had his quarantine, he was done, he was fine. Now, again, that's one individual case. That's what makes this all so chaotic. Like for The Rock, it was shitty, and hopefully for the rest of his family, it wasn't as shitty, especially his kids. But still, again, like Ransom said, he had someone that's like sore throat, sinuses, done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What other stuff is going on out there in the wrestling zeitgeist? I couldn't remember. Payback in general. What were your guys' impressions on it? I don't know if Ransom watched it or not. Did you, Ransom?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Perfect segue. Ransom, what did you think of Payback?
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was fine. It didn't stand out to me like, it wasn't a pay-per-view of the year. It wasn't, a shitbox pay-per-view. It was an average WWE pay-per-view.
I mean, no, I was gonna say I kind of got to agree with Ransom. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But again, at the end of the day, it was just kind of like, all right, like that was a thing that we just did. Like,
okay, but how many WWE pay-per-views as of like the last 4, 5, 7, 10 years can you come away with and go, all right, that was fun? Like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I would give it a solid B+.
I understand that, and Lord knows, I don't want to get into an argument about it, but I don't know.
It did seem odd to me that they would put one so soon after SummerSlam. Like that. It was just very weird timing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100% to fuck with All Out. Like they're purposefully trying to burn people out with NXT 30, SummerSlam, Payback, the Iron Man Fatal 4-Way match, which obviously wasn't planned, but here we are. Like they're trying to burn people out on good wrestling so that it comes to AEW All Out, and people are like, I don't know. Didn't we just do this 2 weeks ago? Obviously, the diehards are gonna watch it, but the casuals can be like, wasn't this just on last week? Like, no, man, that was WWE. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So like, but I mean, comparatively, I think it was better than SummerSlam. It was fun. It was fun and enjoyable, and for once, Roman Reigns getting off of the show with the title didn't piss me off to the fact of like, canceling WWE Network. So there's that.
What the fuck is that, dude?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, no, like Beef, that, and that's the thing is that's a sad state of affairs for WWE. Is that middle of the road is us going, like what we would have considered years and years and years ago a below average, like really below average pay-per-view. Now we're like, oh, okay, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I wanted to say. Like that's what I wanted to get at, but I couldn't word it into speak. But Poot did. He spoke it into speaky words.
I mean, he is the
That's
boss.
what I do.
That's
Right,
what
but
I
like
do, yeah.
That's
to
what
say,
I do.
like, oh, I walked away from it entertained and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's the WWE of now. Yes, that's what it is. But if this were to go up against, pay-per-views of a couple generations ago, this would have been one of those pay-per-views that I would have walked away from going, I really wish I hadn't watched this live. I really wish I would have gone back and watched it on a network to where I could have just skipped through some stuff. Skip through this, skip through that, get to a match,
Right?
and not be bothered to have to sit through the whole thing. But it seems like WWE pay-per-views as of late, those type of pay-per-views, like if I would put this up against an AEW pay-per-view or, an old WWF pay-per-view, not WWE, WWF. This would have been one of those pay-per-views I would have walked away from going, I wish I would have just watched it taped. Or I wish I would have taped it and watched it. I wish I wouldn't have watched it live. Not that it was bad, but it wasn't anything to write home about. I won't remember what happened on this pay-per-view come next year's Payback. Like, oh, you remember last year's Payback? Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't. What happened?
That's a salient point.
But I mean, again, to, pull a Poot the Bard Switzerland stance.
No.
I didn't hate it.
Well,
to go along with what Beef had to say, I didn't walk away from it going, I wasted this much time of my life. I'll never get it back. It was so stupid. Like, I didn't leave that pay-per-view angry, like I've left many WWE pay-per-views. I just left it like, okay, well, it's over. Time to shut it off, brush my teeth, and go to bed.
So I think that the landscape has changed with wrestling. How we take it in, how we watch it, how we enjoy it.
How you drink it in, man.
Right.
Man.
Exactly. What was true in 1999 is not going to be true in 2020. What was true in 2005 is not going to be true in 2020. So I mean, you kind of have to put the spectacles of the era on and kind of watch it through that visor and understand that things are different now, both with how we ingest it and how it's produced for us.
So what you're saying is that I need to lower my standards a little bit.
No,
because that's what I take away from this. I take away from you saying it's not like it was a while ago. This is the way things are in 2020.
No,
and you need to adjust your expectations or standards to meet WWE of 2020.
For example.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes.
Is he dead?
Oh,
No, I think.
What? Beef?
Is he
Beef?
in Rictus?
Oh, I think he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah,
He's reading Green Ring. Uh-oh.
Did he flub his microphone off?
Beef, you gone.
did you try turning it off and turning it back on again, Beef?
Didn't work for me earlier.
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
gonna
it
have
did,
to come
didn't
out and come back in. Because it's still showing he's talking, but there's nothing coming through. He'll realize it.
I don't know. He might just keep going.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
This is a takeaway that I have from Payback.
I'm back.
I think this is what. Okay, hold on. This will be real quick. It's not long. I think this is the one thing I will remember out of this Payback match, and it's a bone I have to pick with the idiots that show their stupid faces on those stupid monitors around that stupid ring.
Oh,
a lot
boy.
of hostility here. There's a lot of stupidity. When
Yep.
that dumb superplex happened, and that dumb ring collapsed, and that dumb referee fell out of the ring, the dumb expressions on all those stupid WWE fans on those dumb monitors, you couldn't have done it better if there were NXT plants all over those monitors. Just, oh my gosh, like, oh, shock face, like, oh, the ring collapsed. That hasn't been done before. A ring hasn't collapsed before, and a referee hasn't fallen out of the ring before. Poor Earl Hebner. That's the first time we've ever seen something like that. That was crazy. No, it wasn't. Done to death. Happens before. It's not. No one even took a crazy bump out of it. The referee got flippity flopped out of the ring. Happened to Earl Hebner already. Yet there's still those dumb.
Earl Hebner sold it better too.
There's those dumb schlocks with their stupid caveman mouth agape faces. Just ugh. No, stop. Show me
That's
something
what
that
they want,
hasn't been
man.
done already, and then be excited like, oh my gosh. This wasn't the Undertaker losing to Brock Lesnar. This was a dumb ring collapsing.
But this is their 5 seconds of fame. Like, they're like, oh man, I'm going to be on WWE Thunderdome. I better act it up so that they, save my face and use it for future
or do a Hitler salute, or put my butthole on the screen, or put up a picture of Kenny Omega.
Or freaking Kenny Omega up there.
Well,
I want to know if that was actually Kenny Omega.
By all intents,
It was a
from all
picture.
intents and purposes, I heard. I don't know, because Kenny is a big wrestling fan, and I mean he does have friends in WWE. Like, regardless of the fact that people are in different businesses, different companies or whatever that are quote unquote competing with one another. I mean, excuse me.
Cough it out.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right,
COVID. You got it
it's
from
COVID.
Rock.
Oh God! Oh my God! No, he's friends with the guys from the New Day and other people in that company, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility or believability that Kenny would have actually been watching and just wanted to get on. I thought he tweeted something saying like, "Oh, I thought it would just be fun. I didn't think anybody would notice." So I don't know.
Yeah, but who knows if that's Kenny? Yeah,
Right,
who knows if that's Kenny having fun, and
that.
trolling us all?
And again, what are the odds of Kenny Omega, of all people, getting accepted into that WWE stream?
Well, but
Not
somebody
only
clearly
that, but-
showed his fucking face. Like, someone was
That's the
like,
thing.
oh,
Well,
hey,
yeah.
there's Kenny Omega.
Yeah, like what are the odds of him being on the hard camera side, down by the ring, where you can see him? That's a pretty damn
what are
good
the
odds.
What are the odds that Chris Benoit's going to show up? What are the odds that
Somebody's
the Nazi
butthole.
Ku Klux Klan? Yeah, I mean, like,
Those are the type of people that are already in and going, oh, I can see myself. I'm right here. I'm going to do something outrageous.
that's fair. That's fair.
what I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts. That wasn't pre-planned, or at least it wasn't pre-planned until they saw where they were. And once they saw where they were like, ooh, I'm on camera. I have the opportunity to do something that will, give me the bragging rights. Oh, WWE pay-per-view. I'm just saying, like, if Kenny Omega decided to try to stream in and watch, there's some high odds of him being right there where the camera can catch him.
Well, and I mean, realistically, from a business point of view, like, if I were Kenny's boss, Tony Khan, I'd be like, listen, dude, like, I appreciate, so let's move forward with the acceptance that it was Kenny Omega, which is a 50-50 shot. If I'm Tony Khan, I go to him and I'd be like, listen, dude, like, I appreciate you're a wrestling fan and all that, but you cannot be showing your face on their screen to get them views, because now people are going to be watching saying, oh, I wonder if Kenny Omega is going to show up again.
Oh, I wonder if Chris Jericho's going to show up. I wonder where the Bucks are going to
Exactly.
show up.
Exactly.
I wonder where the butthole will show up.
So, like,
Ricochet's like, I'm all over it.
Oh, yeah. He's watching from the pine. Oh, wait.
The the one point I wanted to make to you, Ransom, real quick, because you asked about lowering expectations and everything.
Yeah, give it to me.
So, how much of the pay-per-view did you watch with the phone in your hand, doing probably something else, even if it was something menial like browsing or whatever, looking at gun shit, whatever? Like, how much of that do you think was a device in your hand?
I don't know. I think for that pay-per-view, honestly, the only time I picked up my phone is if it went off. Like if I got
Really?
a text or if one of you guys was messaging me. Yeah, like
Okay. That's good. My point is that, like, me personally, I think I had my phone going. I think I was probably on the laptop doing something. Like this generation. So what we're seeing on WWE right now, I think is built for the 40-second. I lost my point. No, the 40-second time frame, like ADD. The ADD generation. Like you got to hit the high notes fast and make them pop, and boom, be on to the next one, because you can't guarantee that people are going to be invested. Now, here's the other side of that coin. If the product is worth investing in, then, for example, NXT 30, I was not on my laptop. I didn't have my phone. Like I had my phone, but I didn't I wasn't on it. I was glued to the product. With AEW All Out, I'll be glued to the product. Yes, I might do some texting here and there, probably to you guys, but for the most part, I'll be watching the wrestling. I won't be doing anything else but watching the wrestling. So I think if you have a product that's worthy of people's attention, you'll keep it. But right now, WWE is trying to focus on that the almighty casual. So they want to try and get people in, get them hooked, give them the big stuff, and then get out.
Give them the big dog.
I don't know how you do that successfully and put on a good product that's 3 hours long.
I would argue that
you're asking for people's attention for 3 hours.
Yeah, the 3 hour Raws. Okay. The 3 hour Raws have never been a good product. Ever since Raw has moved to 3 hours, my interest has not been lower. I have no interest in devoting 3 hours of my time to a shitty product. It's so much so that it's bled over to SmackDown that I don't even want to give that a shot anymore. Even though I probably should, but I don't want to.
So yeah. I kind of got lost. I don't know whose point you're making.
I don't know either.
I'm just throwing out a point to say that, in their pursuit of casual fans, and keeping eyes on the product, whether they're long-term eyes or whether they're, going to be around for 3 weeks. They're trying things that are different and very fast-hitting. So, I see your point, and I agree that, like, this is definitely a step down from what we used to expect. Although, again, go back and watch some of those Attitude Era pay-per-views, man. They're not that great. They are not that great. There are some exciting moments, but for the most part, like, I think that we give them all some pretty pissy reviews now. The stuff from, like, the early to mid-aughts, those are better. But even still, I think there's a lot of, like, happy remembrance.
Well, and I think we're always going to look at when you're in the moment. 20 years from now, when we're all fucking, as dusty bones as I'm not. I don't plan on being dead. I don't know about you.
I'll be dead. I'll be dead.
Well, that's sad. I don't want a life without my ransom in it.
Oh yeah, you'll have it. 20 years? Nah, I'll be lucky if I make it 10 more.
Wow.
I'll stroke out or have a heart attack or something. Like something will take me. COVID.
Taking the beef approach, huh? Like, remember whenever I was planning on, like, 30 being my hard cut? Like, jeez.
But
I just feel like, look, if NXT can do it, and if AEW can do it, why can't the product that has the longest running episodic blah 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 blah, why can't it do it too?
I can tell you right now why.
I think my biggest problem is that I'm sorry, Tom. Finish your thought here as soon as I get this out. It won't be long.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
Like if AEW and NXT can do it, there should be no reason why the quote unquote main roster of WWE, whether it's their Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-views, it's not like the wrestling product as a whole overall is looked at as like, well, that was mediocre. Like, well, that was a who cares. Like, I'll watch it, but I could not watch it. Whatever. Like you said it yourself, Beef. You're locked on to AEW. You don't miss a week. You don't miss a pay-per-view.
Nope.
You don't have your phone in your hand. You're on it.
Yep.
So if one promotion can do it, the promotion with the Vince McMahon heritage, the pedigree, the tenure that WWE has, I don't feel like there's any reason why they shouldn't be able to do it. With all the success that they've had, they should be the ones that are knocking it out of the park.
I agree with you, and I think the problem is just because the fact that it is so long standing that I think some people are probably set in their ways, and I'm not just the Vince thing. No, I mean, granted that. Listen, I know Vince is was very forward thinking with a lot of stuff back in the day. When we said it on the whenever we did the collar elbow tie up. When Ted Turner got into and got WCW, he called up Vince and said, "Hey, I'm in the wrestling business," and Vince said, "Okay, well, I'm in the entertainment business. I'm in sports entertainment." Like, he had the forward thinking of that. Now, flash forward. I think because of the fact that he's been so successful and the WWE has developed into such a global juggernaut, both in the wrestling world and then just in pop culture in general, I think he's just kind of resting on his laurels in a lot of ways. And I mean, granted, there are moments, there are glimmers of hope when we were like, oh, wow, that pay-per-view was really good, or that Raw or SmackDown, oh, that was a really cool moment. But again, it's not consistent, and he's not stringing stuff together. Whereas with AEW, they have to fight to prove something. They have to, they're putting it, no pun intended, they're putting it all out there because they're still a brand new company. They're barely a year old right now. So I mean, they have a lot to prove to themselves, their fans, their investors, everything. There's a lot that's still, on the line there. NXT, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what you can say about that. I mean, like, it's just I think Triple H has a very good understanding and a very good mind for the business, as he always has, despite the golden shovel burial days. But that aside, Triple H has always had a very good mind for the business. As a performer, and moving into the upper echelons of the management and stuff like that. And he's the one that came up with the idea for NXT, for Christ's sakes. Like, he sat in on the board meeting. You can read it in the NXT, The Future Is Now book. He said, what are we doing to make new stars? Because, I mean, he lived through that. He's seen that. He saw what, how certain talent got buried in certain organizations.
And, well, whether by hook or by crook, he was actually on the other end of that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on both. He was on both sides of the fence. He's seen it happen. So I mean, the fact that he has the forward thinking, like, okay, well, you know what? Here I am. I'm in this position in this company now, and I need to start thinking about the future of this company. Okay, what are we doing to make new stars? And nobody had an answer for him. And then he just kept pushing it and said, hey, Vince, like, I need this money to do this. This is the vision that I have. And it's paid off, and it's done very well. It's done very well for itself. I think that's the thing. Like, there are certain things you got to take what works, but you have to be willing to take chances, take calculated risk. And I don't feel like that Vince does that a lot with the creative on Raw and SmackDown. He is so in control that he doesn't let them have a little bit of wiggle room to say, let's see if this works. With Bray Wyatt being the exception, because we know that they gave him a lot of creative wiggle room. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest reason for it there, Ransom.
You know, I agree with Beef because I believe that Beef said it first, and then the Poot and the Maniac and I, the Poot and the Maniac and I talked about it on last week's episode. That it doesn't matter what the ratings are. You know, I think that's I really believe that that's like a Vince thing. Like, oh, we gotta get ratings. But when it comes down to the shareholders, I don't think they give a crap what the ratings are. I don't think they give a crap if AEW is beating them. I don't think they give a crap if TNA, Impact, whatever the hell they're called. I don't think they care if they're beating them. I think it all boils down to money.
Yep.
If the ratings are in the toilet, and I think we talked about it at one point, a few episodes ago, and Beef was, he was the one that brought this up. As long as the investors, the shareholders are making money, regardless of what the ratings are doing, regardless of how many people scream and object and poo-poo it, like the four of us consistently do on this podcast, I don't think they give a crap. As long as the shareholders are making money from that product, they don't give a crap what the fans think. They don't give a crap what the ratings are. If money's coming in, they're happy. So if Vince continues to make the money, even if he's putting out pay-per-views that make us go, meh, we're still watching them. We're still subscribing to the network. We're still buying the pay-per-views. We're still buying merch. They're still making money. So I think at the end of the day, you're not going to see a paradigm shift until either, A, Vince is out, or B, the investors and the shareholders' pocketbooks start to see a problem.
Right.
That's when you'll see something big happen. You'll see a big change then, but until then, I don't think they care.
I completely agree with you. It really does boil down to money. And speaking of a paradigm shift, I think that's a perfect segue. You guys plan on getting into picks here?
It's the idea.
There you go.
Well, let's make it happen.
No, there you go. But on that note, since I'm not going to be a part of the title hunt here, I'm going to excuse myself, and I'm going to leave you fellas to it. I'll catch the rest of the show once it airs. But before I go, I would like to thank the sponsors.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Shameless self-plug. Here we go. Let's do it.
Nope.
Absolutely.
By the way, did you hear the Maniac's plug on the last episode?
I did, and I was very, very happy with it.
He knocked it out of the park.
He did awesome. He did
He
did a good job.
Yeah, he acquitted himself nicely.
Yes.
So a la the Maniac, I'm going to plug the sponsors and excuse myself for the night and retire. So first off, I'd like to thank Sean Tischler with all the work that he does with IWC up and around the Clearfield area. Go check out the Facebook page, IWC Clearfield. It's a group page. Keep up to date with everything going on IWC related. If you're in the area, whether it's in Clearfield or whether it's down here, southwestern PA, in the Elizabeth area, or wherever they may be holding their next show, which I think the next one is not this Saturday.
That drive-in.
Yeah, it's next Saturday, September the 12th, which I may try to go to. We'll see.
Is that Super Indy? Super Indy?
I don't remember what it's called, but
yeah,
I think you might be right. But
Super
anyway,
Indy 19.
There you go. So if you guys are around the area, check out IWC. Go check out your local indies. Support the indies. They are doing their best to keep the doors open and put on some good shows. The last time that the IWC did a show at the Brownsville Drive-In, they did some really cool stuff, some interesting entrances using drones and stuff like that. It's really cool. Go check out their stuff. Yeah, they did a really nice job.
Making the best of a bad situation, as they say.
Absolutely. Adapt and overcome. That's all you can do. And then I would, of course, like to thank myself. Yeah, I know, right? But no, go check out Casual Gaming Dad. You can catch my page over on Facebook. You can catch it on YouTube. Casual Gaming Dad 84 over on Twitch. If you're going to look it up on the YouTube address, it'd be youtube.com/casual gaming dad 84. Stumbling over my own words here.
Casual dad. He's our dad. He's our
Username.
casual dad.
Anywho, but yeah, check out the Facebook page. Check out the merchandise over at Gould Gaming. You can get a Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast official T-shirt from over there in my section of the store. And if you need the discount codes for any of that stuff, just go to the description of any of my recent videos. You'll see all the descriptions there, as well as the direct link to my merchandise. And we are doing monthly star giveaways and stuff like that. If you donate stars over on Facebook, you can get yourself entered into the giveaways. I got a special prize planned out for September here, so stay tuned to the page for that. I will actually be doing the giveaway, depending on when you guys listen to it. It's going to be this Sunday, whatever the date is. So definitely check that out. If you help contribute to the Stars Fund in August, then you could very well find yourself a winner. So each and every month,
dinner from
winner chicken dinner. Yeah. September's going to be a good one. I'm very happy with the prize that I got planned out for people. So I will let you guys know more about that off the podcast, depending on when this airs, because I don't want to spoil anything yet. So,
Well, hey Tom, thanks for coming, and it's nice to have you back in the saddle.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
I'm looking forward to getting back into the groove a little bit more often. Maybe not every single week, but as I find a little bit more time to watch some wrestling again and kind of get back into the groove of things, I'll be looking forward to chatting with you faces.
Well, we always have a spot open for the Tiger Bomb.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
Especially
boy.
as you keep that not $49.99 coming our way.
Oh,
Exactly. All right, fellas, I'll talk to you later on.
All right, later.
good.
All right. Now that the wheat has been separated from the chaff, boys.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I love Tom.
Wow.
I'm glad he
I
was
was ready
around.
to jump on it too, Poot. I was 100% ready to jump on it too. I'm glad you did.
Let's get into these picks, man, because I'm
let's,
excited. This is going to be fun.
Let's. So for the listeners at home, so first of all, let me catch everybody up. The Cruiserweight title has been held in suspension since the kerfuffle at the horror show. So we have basically put it on the line for August and the beginning of September for all the 18 million pay-per-views that have happened. So through all of the events except for All Out and next week's NXT, the leaderboard is as follows. Yours truly at 15-6. And Poot and Ransom trailing behind at 13-8. So, here's where we stand as far as all that goes. Now, it was determined off the air that because I had some sort of an unfair advantage last week, which I don't know, that I would be leading off all of the AEW All Out picks.
Yep.
As I mentioned, I have zero problem with that. So I will lead off, and then we will finish up with the NXT Championship pick for next week as well. So, AEW All Out Saturday night, going to be a hell of a show. I am already excited about it. So let's start with the pre-show, which is Dr. Britt Baker versus Big Swole in a tooth and nail match, which seemingly is a street fight in a dentist office. Who knows? I will lead, obviously, and my pick is Dr. Britt Baker. There, as much as I want to pick Swole, I think you can't bring back Britt Baker and have her be the title contender that you want her to be without a win here. So I think that she has to be Swole. Poot, go ahead.
I am of the same mind as you. I don't feel like it's time for Britt Baker to lose. Nothing against Swole. I just feel like that they need to keep this shit-eating heel Britt Baker thing rolling. And they do that with a victory on her return.
Ransom.
Same.
So we're all going with Mrs. Cole versus Big Swole. Okay, cool. The Casino Battle Royal match. Pay attention. I'm going to read the list of entrants once.
Ugh.
Pulling up the wiki now.
Wiki.
So it's yeah, right. So it's the same as all the other casino battle royals, or casino ladder matches, whatever the hell they are, where they're like dispensed in like pods of 5. Typical battle royal rules, which is over the top rope, feet at the floor, last man standing wins a future AEW World Championship match. We have Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, The Butcher, The Blade, Eddie Kingston, Shawn Spears, Billy, Austin Gunn, Jake Hager, Santana, Ortiz, Chuck Taylor, Trent, and TBD. There's a lot of intriguing names in there. I think it'd be cool if they let Cage win another one of these after he won the poker chip ladder match, whatever the hell it was called. Eddie Kingston is one not to sleep on. I think he could be a big time fucking main event heel. But I think that Lance Archer wins this. It's Archer time, baby. Ransom.
I have no idea. I think for funsies, I'm going to pick TBD.
Okay, so you are taking the wild card. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Well, he has 4 chances. If you look at it from strictly a numbers standpoint, it's kind of smart.
That's fair. Okay, so you're taking the field. I don't know. All right, then that's fine. Poot, what about you, buddy?
Now, let me get this straight, see if I can read these back off to you, not looking at the wiki at all. Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, We Didn't Start the Fire, The Butcher and the Blade, and Eddie Kingston, as well as Austin Gunn, Billy, Jake Hager, Santana Ortiz, Shawn Spears, Best Friends, and TBD.
That's it.
Okay. I kind of feel like I really wanted to say Darby Allin. I really did. I really wanted to say Darby Allin to take all this. But the hype around Brian Cage, Lance Archer is so big. I could see Lance Archer winning and challenging Brian Cage for the FTW belt.
So the wiki does say AEW World Championship.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this functions like the Feast or Famine briefcases, where you can just challenge for whatever, or not Feast or Famine, the X Division thing where you can sacrifice your thing to whatever. I think it's specific for the world title.
Wow. I wish we would have held this off until after, like, as one of the last things to pick.
Well, here we are.
Well, thanks. I love how snarky you get when you're in a lead, but when you're not, you're like, oh, whatever, who fucking cares? Let's see.
Oh, like me.
Yeah. Man, this is hard. You know what? I know it's out on a limb, but we might as well keep this interesting. I'm going to go with Darby Allin.
All right.
I'm going to go with Darby Allin. Not because it's like a marquee, he's popular thing, but I'm like, I have a plan, and I'll explain it later.
All right. Dark Order versus, which is represented by Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson, versus Matt Cardona, aka Zack Ryder, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall, and Dustin Rhodes. I really wish that this would have been a 5-way or at least a 4-way TV title match. I'm kind of bummed because even though I was down on Cody for doing what he did. At least Cody defended the title every week. Ever since Brody Lee won the title, he hasn't defended it, so it's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. I like what Dark Order's doing, and I think that they continue their winning ways, and I picked the Dark Order. Pootsky.
I know it feels. I really wanted to say Cardona Sky and the Natural Nightmares. I really did. Because it's like it's Matt Cardona's first pay-per-view thing. This isn't for a title or anything, is it? It's just kind of like
it's an 8-man tag, right?
Some fuckery. I'm gonna go with Dark Order as well. And by the way, does it feel weird to anybody else that Colt Cabana's in with this whole thing?
Yep.
It feels weird. Like, it just does. I get it. Like, I get it. I'm not saying it's bad. I get it. But it's just, I'm like, Colt Cabana? Ew.
Ransom, what you got?
I'm going to go with Team Cardona.
Okay. So you were going.
I don't know why. I'm just going for it.
Well, and I mean, smart money's on them getting vengeance for Cody. So, I understand that 100%. So yeah, that's not a bad pick. All right. Just noting that down here. And Sky. Okay. So, the Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. Young Bucks looking kind of heelish after last week. So now we have like the entire Elite becoming heels, which is weird that they're all kind of doing it at the same time, but whatever. As long as I see the fucking cleaner back by the end of the night, I don't care. So I believe that they are going to start gearing the Young Bucks up for at least an honest-to-God like shot at the titles. I know that they had one against Omega and Hangman, and that was probably the match of the year so far. But I think that they're going to, the Young Bucks feel like they have something to prove. So I feel like the Young Bucks are going to win this match. It's going to be a lot closer than people think, but I think that the Young Bucks win it. Ransom.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bucks.
Pootsky.
Again, this one, I'm like, I feel like Jurassic Express, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Beef. They're due, man. Like, there's still, like, people love them, and I feel like they could eat all the pins in the universe. Because it seems like whenever they do lose, very rarely is it, like, super clean, like, squeaky clean. I feel like they're due. But it's the Bucks on a pay-per-view, and they're taking them, like you said, in a different direction. So I got to go with the Bucks as well. I hate to do that. Like, I do, but, like, I got to go Bucks as well.
Yeah. And excuse me. Ooh. It wouldn't shock me if they did start to push the heel thing a little. I don't know. I can't say heel. They may just be going more edgy, but like they didn't come out and they didn't do the money pose. They didn't celebrate after the win. They were definitely like more like driven during the 8-man match on Dynamite. So I don't know, man. I got a feeling. In a broken rules match, which apparently is no rules. I'm not quite solid on that. We have Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. If Matt Hardy loses, he says that he will leave AEW. So I think they've announced which Matt Hardy it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be like the 90s Team Extreme Matt Hardy, which means he's definitely going to transform during the match, of course. So
can I ask a question?
You may.
Is it? I don't know how to phrase this really. Well, I guess 2 questions. Do you think Matt Hardy's done?
No. No, literally, I watched the interview with Chris Van Vliet. Is it Vliet? I do this every time. Is it Vliet or Valet?
I don't know, man.
I can't remember. Well, I watched the interview with him, and Matt has said he's like, the last couple years I have, and he very stressed years that he has left to actually wrestle. That's what he wants to do. Like, he's not done. He's not retiring.
Okay. So I guess that segues into my next question do you think they're going to pull one of those, like, the version that loses is gone? So, like, 90s Matt Hardy. Let's just say, for example, 90s Matt Hardy comes out, wrestles the whole match as Team Extreme Matt Hardy, and loses. A couple weeks go by, and broken Matt Hardy comes back. Well, that version of Matt Hardy is done.
That was going to be
left AEW.
That was going to be my
not
point.
Him.
Yeah.
Like that's not me. I'm broken Matt Hardy.
Broken Matt Hardy has said that he is a vessel for the I forget what he calls it, Damascus. So
yes.
like he acts like it's a completely separate person. So that's not outside the realm of believability either.
So I mean, I think when I'm thinking about it, that's my, I guess, thought on the whole thing is Matt Hardy could lose. Matt Hardy could lose, but say in a couple weeks or whatever, Damascus comes out, and it's that actual character, Damascus. Not Matt Hardy, not broken Matt Hardy, not a version of Matt Hardy. This is Damascus. I'm the true being. I'm the true, vessel. Matt Hardy has left. He is gone. Damascus is here. So I could see Matt Hardy losing this match, but a completely different character emerges later on. I don't know.
Well, and so here's my thought. When I look at a wrestling card, I always look at, as all things should be, perfectly balanced. Faces and heels getting wins. You want a good mix of both, because you can't have all the good guys win. You obviously can't have all the bad guys win, especially since this is like their WrestleMania. Let's not mince words. This is AEW's big show. This is the show that they were founded on. So, being that I've picked so many faces or so many heels on the show, I picked Matt Hardy because, first of all, I don't, with as like sport heavy as AEW feels, they feel like they're a lot more by the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So I don't think that they're going to book Hardy to lose and then have Hardy come back as a different character. And I don't think that that's a bad out at all. And it would not shock me if that's the case. But just giving the feeling that I get about how the Elite kind of book and feel, I don't feel like they would do that. So and I know that Matt Hardy is not going anywhere. He's just kind of starting his AEW career here. So I believe that Matt Hardy will win. And it is Poot's turn to pick first. Well, second.
I'm going to go with Matt Hardy on this one.
Oh,
yes.
By the way, whenever on the wiki, whenever I click on the broken rules met, it redirects to Last Man Standing. So take that for what you will.
All right. I'm going to go with Matt Hardy. I'm going to go with Matt Hardy. I feel like it'll close the book on the Sammy Guevara thing, and then Guevara can go on to not bigger and better things, but other things. So I'm going to go with Hardy.
Ransom.
I feel like I want to go with Guevara because I don't know. I just have that sneaking suspicion that they'll pull some sort of like, okay, Matt Hardy's out. This new character is here. This is the true me. And then Matt Hardy finishes out his career as this culmination of whatever he's become. But I don't know that I can convince myself that that's the way to go. Plus, I think that, after the chair shot effery, I think that Matt Hardy beats him. Like retribution for the thing. I don't know. I'm going to go with Matt Hardy.
I think we'll see how deep AEW's doghouse goes on this one, too. I think it's a little bit too soon, since Sammy's coming back, to have him pick up a big win like this.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It could be like, time served. Dude was off TV. He did his classes or whatever, and he's better now.
You don't think they'll pull a Triple H a la curtain call thing and, continue the burial?
I
think they're going to say, okay, you know what? Like you said, time served. You did your penance. You're back.
So, I don't care who you are. If you have a major pay-per-view match on, like, the biggest show of the year in a singles match, in a gimmick match, win, lose, or draw, you're not getting buried. You could go out there and, like, get just owned by Matt Hardy. And you still competed in a pay-per-view match, singles match, one-on-one, in a gimmick match at the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
And that's
not a burial.
I was going to say losing to someone like Matt Hardy is not in any way, like, a big thing. Like in the sense of, like, a big thing that's going to be like, ooh, they're really throwing him under the bus,
It's not like losing in 2 minutes to the Ultimate Warrior.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
So, women's title match. So the undercard, I think, has a very solid feel to it. The main events, though, like the upper card, the title matches, are where I think the money is on this pay-per-view. We get Hikaru Shida. This is for the AEW Women's title, not the NWA, only exclusively the AEW Women's title. We have the reigning champion Hikaru Shida versus the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa looks really, really good on Dynamite. And she is a blue chipper through and through. She knows what the hell she's doing, and she's a great wrestler. She's got a great look, great gimmick. The only thing from stopping me from picking her is the fact that she's not an AEW talent. I'm not saying that she could very well win, and she could have both titles, and then, oh no, is she going to show up on NWA Power with the AEW Women's title? Who knows? So that doesn't create that does create a little bit of intrigue. But at the end of the day, you have a talent from outside of your organization coming in and facing your champion. Logic dictates that you put your champion over. Not only that, but Hikaru Shida has had a pretty short reign so far, and AEW has proven that they are not one to hot potato titles. So I believe that Hikaru Shida will beat Thunder Rosa in what could be potentially the match of the night. Ransom.
Same.
Just think about how interesting that would make life, and how interesting that would make, like, the dynamic of the wrestling world. This could be something where they start to shake things up and be like, our title's gone and it's in another promotion. And this could, there's already the establishment of talent exchange. You know what I mean?
Let's not forget that the Bucks have held the AAA that tag team titles, and that Kenny Omega was like the AAA grand champion or whatever the hell too. So
well, you know what? There's always tomorrow. There's always other reigns for the Bard. I'm gonna step outside of you guys. I'm gonna say Thunder Rosa.
That's not a bad pick, man. Like I said,
It's one of those things
would
that
not shock me.
It's a little bit more of going out on a limb, but it's a really solid limb. Like, you could see them pulling this because, like you said, it's their big show. Like, it's their like keynote show of the year. It's
having
effectively
her win. Sorry,
well, I was going to say it's effectively the end of their fiscal year, as one would say.
Right. Having her win would be very avant-garde. It would be very progressive, and That's kind of what
Interesting.
AEW has been very progressive. But on the flip side, I think AEW kind of books by the numbers a lot too. So the face is going to win the blow-off match. The heel is going to keep smarmy and continue on being sniveling. That's
the fact that we're having this discussion is I think a feather in the cap of AEW.
Agreed.
Like, seriously.
And kudos to them for saying, you know what, we have a great women's division, but we want to put this show on the map. We're going to go out and do something that we did at the original All In, which is bring in, some of the best talent from around the world, regardless of promotion. So yeah, I
and remember, Cody held the
Yeah.
NWA title, and I understand they weren't AEW yet, but
It's true. Yep. The one thing that just hit me, who may be in the fucking Battle Royal and would not shock me if they won?
who?
Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I've got the TBD.
He does. So that's an interesting call. All right. So okay. So what's going on with Thunder Rosa there? Okay. Tag team title match: Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, the champions, versus FTR. Man,
Hard call. This is probably the toughest one.
No, I think the toughest one's the main event, man. But you're right. You're not wrong. But to me, this is the writing is on the wall. They've set Hangman Page up to be the fucking fall guy, to be the bad guy that he's in with FTR, and then they pull that fucking brilliant promo out of nowhere on Thursday where they're like, we're not in his head, he's in his own head. And they have Adam Page looking all fucking disheveled and oh, what am I gonna do? Who am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm so drunk.
Why am I?
Why is the Hangman? So they did a great job. I'm telling you, man, if we do not see the fucking cleaner on Saturday night, we are never gonna see the cleaner on AEW. Now is the time where it looks like Paige and Kenny are coming together, and then boom, out of nowhere, Omega hits him with the fucking flash knee, the V trigger, and then just walks away on him, and the FTR win. And plus, I think that the cleaner. So let me put this mental image in your minds. A stable headed up by Tully Blanchard, which includes the likes of the AEW Tag Team Champions, the FTR, the AEW TV Champion, Shawn Spears, and the AEW World Champion, the Cleaner Kenny Omega. How fucking badass does that sound?
Now, for the people that don't know, or maybe not, strictly following AEW too closely, what's the cleaner?
The Cleaner is Kenny Omega's gimmick from New Japan.
When he was in the Bullet Club.
Right, he was a Bullet Club leader. He was kind of a shit-eating heel. Just kind of fucking did work, man. He was all business, no smiles. He just went out there and annihilated people.
The gimmick was supposed to be as part of the Bullet Club because they were like that. They were like a gang. He was supposed to be that silent hitman that initially that's what he was. He would wear the sunglasses and gloves and long jacket, and he was just the guy that was the silent killer. Like Beeb said, he would go out and kill people, but then it turned into the literal cleaner.
Right, with the fucking what was it, a broom or a mop or some shit.
The broom and a bucket full of various sundries.
Yep. So so that would be Kenny Omega's badass heel turn, which I think is much needed at this point. But outside of fantasy booking the new Four Horsemen in AEW, I am picking FTR. I think that we're definitely gearing up for Bucks and FTR probably at Double or Nothing next year. So I think the seeds begin to be planted now. But yeah, FTR for the win. Putski.
Absolutely FTR. I think they need this. I think it would be wonderful. And I think they would have a fun run. And just imagine the matches with the Bucks.
Ransom.
Same.
All right. Easy picks, apparently. All right. Mimosa Mayhem.
Oh,
Which, again, for those who may have missed it earlier, pinfall, submission, or your opponent gets tossed into a giant vat of mimosa, which obviously will not be mimosa. It may be mimosa, who knows? But I can't imagine them storing, like that many gallons of mimosa in the Florida temperatures all night.
if Jericho has anything to do with it, it'll be legit mimosa, and he'll drink some.
Right. Yeah, so this is a tough call, man. Because I think they value Orange Cassidy, and I think that they're putting him over in the right way. But I just don't see him as a main event guy. And I waffled on this one a couple times. I think Jericho wins. And that's tough because this is the rubber match. But yeah, I think Jericho wins. I don't know if Orange. So I think that Jericho will win. I think that he'll probably tap out Orange to the Lion Tamer. But then after the match, Orange will throw Jericho into the vat of mimosa. Ransom.
I don't know why. I'm going to say Orange Cassidy. Just for funsies.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I said, this is a tough pick, but given Jericho's track record in AEW, I have a hard time believing it.
I think you are underselling Orange Cassidy's ability and possible versatility in the upper echelons of AEW, which admittedly a match against Jericho kind of already puts him there, but like I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy as well. Because I can see the thing with Orange Cassidy, the reason that a lot of people don't see him as a main eventer is because of the gimmick. Really, and the lineage of the gimmick, because there's a lot of comedy wrestling there. There's a lot of, kind of goofiness and the whole 9 yards. But when he works, motherfucker is a killer in-ring talent. Like, he can go. I think his talent speaks to himself, and I think the character, because he's so lackadaisical and goofy, when he does actually get serious and busts out moves, it's more impactful, and it lends a serious undertone to that character. It's like the monk who sits there calm with all the chaos going around him, and with one or two swipes, he ends the battle. Like, it really, it's that vibe. I'm not saying it's that exact thing. I'm not trying to put him on this high pedestal, but it's that thing of, like, he's so chill, he's so relaxed and goofy that, like, when he gets serious, he's like, it's almost like the Juggernaut. Like, he just goes. And he's very viable. Also, the path that you could take with him is have him drop that gimmick and, like, become the shittest of eating heels. Like, and like, actually cut promos and, like, come to the ring in a suit. Like, do the Jericho thing from years past. Have him be, like, corporate Orange Cassidy, for lack of a better term. Suits, proper flashy ring gear, really, like, drops all the, like, shin kick stuff and the goofy crap, and then have him lose, and then bring him back as the old school Orange Cassidy. People will love him. You can just run this character for years. It has a great track. So the fact that you say that you don't see Orange Cassidy as main event talent, I think is putting the cart before the horse a little bit. So that's why I'm going with Cassidy.
I mean, let's not forget, too, that, well, it's fantasy booking. How fun would it be to see him turn into that, corporate guy where he wears the suits and everything and becomes part of the AEW's Four Horsemen? I mean, it would come out of nowhere.
I hope that I'm wrong about Orange Cassidy and Randy Orton. I hope that I'm wrong about Orange Cassidy, and I hope that because I love the character, and I think that everything he's done with Jericho has been great. Some of it a little formulaic, but nonetheless still very entertaining. So, there is nothing there. There's little not to like about Orange Cassidy. I just the depth is there, or the depth is not there, and I think that's the problem for me. All right, so coming to the main event of All Out, we have the champion, the incumbent, Jon Moxley, wearing the belt since his defeat of Chris Jericho at Revolution in February, versus the challenger, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF 2020, bitches. Gosh, this was the toughest pick of the night for me, because every iota I have in my body tells me that MJF is ready. He's probably the right choice. If I'm being real, having MJF win this title right now.
Ransom, you see the cards he's playing, really trying to manipulate?
No, I'm not manipulating. I'm throwing out honest opinions here. I believe that MJF should be the guy who wins. Based upon, and again, I'm a Moxley guy. My first AEW shirt that I purchased was a Jon Moxley shirt. So, I really enjoy Jon Moxley, and I love his work. I love what he does. But this angle has been 100% on the back of MJF. And he has made it the best angle over the last month. But, when it comes to brass tacks, and it comes to how does MJF beat Moxley, there's not a way that I can answer that question. Yes, so, just for knowledge, the paradigm shift DDT is barred from Moxley cannot use it. I don't know if he'll get disqualified. I don't know how all that will sift out. If the stipulation was that if Moxley used the DDT, he would lose the title, I might fall more on this towards MJF. But I gotta believe that something's gonna happen with Wardlow. Either Wardlow blows a spot, or Wardlow straight up turns on MJF, and cost him the match. I think, again, AEW is not one to hot potato titles. They like to make their titles mean something, and that's awesome. Good on them. It's tough, but I am gonna pick Jon Moxley in this one. Poot.
I'm gonna oppose you. I'm gonna say MJF. I think it's time. I understand Wardlow being an X factor in there. It's gonna shoot me in the foot. I just know it, but I'm gonna go with MJF on this one. I feel like it's time. He is one of, if not arguably, the hottest talent that they have. He makes waves. He gets eyes on the product. He is entertaining, and he is unflappable with living his gimmick. He is a show stealer. He is a show stopper. I will, if I know MJF is going to be on the program, I will pause whatever I'm doing to watch him cut a promo. I could listen to that man read the phone book and call me a dickhead afterwards. I think it's time. Because if he doesn't get it, what then? Nothing against Moxley. I think Moxley's had a killer run. I think he's a really good. I think he's a good champion. He's a really great, fun babyface. But I feel like if he got knocked off the pedestal to build his way back up, I feel like that would make Moxley multiple times over better once he does get that belt again, and people will pop super, super hard. I really feel like it's MJF's time. It's MJF's turn. MJF 2020. MJF.
Ransom.
I'm torn between Poot's argument and Beef's argument. But
I was going to say, we've heard two pretty impassioned arguments here on both sides of the coin, and both are absolutely valid.
yeah, 100%. I think when it boils down for me in this pick,
TBD.
it's, yeah, TBD. I think it's strictly to oppose Beef, just to see how many I get and how many he doesn't. So I'm going to say MJF.
My other thought process, just to be clear, is that when I look at potential world title contenders, I start lining up all of the bad guys in my head: Archer, Cage, probably maybe Jericho, Brody Lee, and then I look at the potential good guy, and a potential heel Kenny Omega. I look at the good guys. Who you got? Well,
The TBD, whoever wins that match.
right. You have probably Darby Allin. I guess he's a good guy. He obviously John Moxley's a main event good guy. Cody Rhodes, but he can't hold the title anymore. So like the Rogues Gallery on AEW, the villainous side of things is much harder than the good guy side of things. So like, plus, like I said, man, this is like kind of going right according to the plan I talked about a couple months ago about Kenny Omega executing a heel turn, getting the title, and being the guy, but as the heel. And then finally, to wrap up our picks, we are picking next week's NXT Super Tuesday 2 main event, which is Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Whichever man wins this match will have the distinction of being a two-time NXT champion, which is very, very said in hushed tones.
It's
the only other two-time.
Yeah, Samoa Joe and Nakamura.
Yep, and the only reason that they were two-time champions is because they bounced the title back and forth off of each other. So, this to me, this is a bigger deal than those two hot potato in the title, because that's basically what happened. Is they hot potato the title a couple times. To me, this is saying you are the guy that we talk about when we talk about NXT. You're the guy that comes to mind. You're the even though we have had two-time champions in the past, you're the guy that I think is synonymous with NXT. And whenever I put all that together, I love Adam Cole, baby. But at the end of the day, Finn Balor is black and gold born, black and gold bred, and I think when he dies, he'll be black and gold dead. I believe that Finn Balor will be the NXT champion after next week. And if nothing else, it sets up a match whenever Karrion Kross comes back to absolutely wreck Finn Balor. So I'm going with Finn Balor. Who picked that? Poot. Nope, Ransom. Ransom first.
I don't know. Oh hell, I don't know. I think just to be contrarian again to Beef, I'm gonna go with Adam Cole.
Baby.
For some reason I see. Sorry.
You're fine. Do your thing.
For some reason, I think what you say has a lot of. Honestly, I think when it comes down to it, Finn Balor is probably the better choice, and I can see that happening. I can see that being more likely than Adam Cole, but for some reason, something sticks in my head saying, okay, they were going to do something with either breaking up Undisputed Era or sending Adam Cole to the main roster. Maybe they'll put that on hold. They'll have him win the title. They'll have Cross come back from his injury, plaster Adam Cole, and that'll be Adam Cole's swan song, and he'll shuffle off to the main roster at that point. I don't know why, that sticks in my head for some reason. I have a feeling I'm dead wrong, but I'm still going with Adam Cole.
Poot, the Bard, baby.
I'm actually going to side with Beef on this one. I'm going to say Balor because, look, I love Adam Cole, and it would be awesome to see that belt back on him again, but I'm going to tell you something. Balor has been at a very consistently good level, even in loss in NXT, but his initial, his plan of attack when he came out and cut that promo as the Prince, his mission statement, I feel like he got to the dance, but no one ever asked him to be the partner. Like, he never closed. There was no closing. I think this is the moment to close for Balor and have him rule NXT with an iron fucking fist. Whether it's him alone, whether he puts together a not calling it Balor Club, but puts together a little stable, whether he's enigmatic and defends the belt rarely and, whatever. I think that Balor holding that belt and having a run with it would be a very, very good thing for NXT and a very good thing for Balor and inevitably a very good thing for Karrion Kross to come back and defeat the Demon. So, I'm going to go with Balor.
I don't think we'll see the Demon again.
I don't know. I think if anyone could bring it out, it would be Karrion Kross.
Balor said that he doesn't want to do it again, which is disappointing because I love the Demon, and it could just be Balor playing coy and trolling the IWC, which would not shock me because he's a smart dude. He gets it. But I think that this whole Prince persona of his is as good as the Fiend. Oh my goodness, as the Demon. I think that he needs a little bit something extra to kind of send him over a little bit. Maybe do some face paint here and there for the big matches. But yeah, I mean, I can see how him being worried about being the Demon would make him a one-trick pony and a one-note guy, and he doesn't want to be that. But you're not wrong. The guy to do it would be Kross. But I believe, as you do, that you give Finn a nice, healthy, long title reign here until Kross is ready. And even once Kross is ready, probably a couple more months. Let Kross sit on the shelf and work out, get swole, whatever. And then have him start dropping little fucking raven's feathers or the fucking sands of time or whatever. Just little bits here and there, letting Balor know that he's watching him, that he's there. And then just have him rip him apart like fucking a phone book, man. Just have him destroy Finn Balor. Finn Balor, who has owned the NXT roster for, 8 months, 12 months, whatever. Just have Kross come out and just obliterate him. That, I think, would be best for business, and that would be star-making.
Well, and it would also put Kross back in that holy fuck mode, because this injury, whenever you have a heel that you've built up or a big monster that you've built up like that, whenever you have them get injured, it very much humanizes them. Even right. Though he cut that amazing promo and kept his character's composure and kept the mystery and strength behind Karrion Kross, it still made you go, "Oh, he's just a man." It would completely rebuild that if he wrecked Balor.
Right. And that, I think, is going to happen, but in order for that to mean anything, Balor has to have a decent title reign. So yeah, that's my MO. All right, so gentlemen, we are at last call.
All right, last call for alcohol. 3, 2, 1, locked in. All right.
Anybody want to change their picks?
Nope.
Just go back through the matches real quick.
Okay.
The Battle Royal, I'm good. I'm not changing anything on that.
Okay. So we all have Baker. Battle Royal, I have Archer. Poot has Darby Allin. You have TBD. We all have Poot and I have Dark Order. You have the Natural Nightmares, Cardona, and Scorpio Sky. We all have the Bucks. We all have Hardy.
I want to change mine from the Bucks to Dinosaur
Jurassic
Face.
Express. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why.
We all have Hardy. You and I have Shida. Poot has Thunder Rosa. We all have
I'm going to change mine to Thunder Rosa as well.
Just for giggles.
We all have FTR. I have Jericho. You two have Orange Cassidy. I have Moxley. You two have MJF. I have Balor. Poot has Balor. You have Cole.
I'm good.
I'm good now.
Okay. So you have officially locked in your vote to Jurassic Express beating the Bucks and Thunder Rosa beating Hikaru Shida. So those are the picks. We will see what happens. Either way, like I said, it's going to be a great card.
It's going to be amazing.
Like I said, the undercard has enough of like a nice little like pop. But yeah, the title matches and the main events are going to be what you live for on that card.
So I know we talked about it before, but just based on this AEW card alone, regardless of who wins and who loses, I can't see how this doesn't blow any WWE pay-per-view this year out of the water. Like, I really think it will. I think this will be better than any pay-per-view that WWE has put on.
I really think so, too. I think they're really, like, just the content of any of these given matches, I think is going to be, is going to be a well above average. I think the only match that I think might be a little fucky is the 8-man tag match. Just because when you get so many people in there, you know, it can get a little floofy. And AEW, admittedly, and you can argue this against me, admittedly, AEW does tend to get a little loose with botches and stuff. Like, yes. they get a little sloppy sometimes. But I think, you know, and maybe this is me justifying it, and maybe this might be a little too forgiving. I think it's part of the charm.
Yeah,
you know,
I think you're right.
And you have so many people from so many walks of the wrestling world working together who don't know each other super intimately. But I think as time goes on a little bit more, we're going to start seeing people getting to know each other, their styles, and being able to communicate better. And we're going to see that clean up. I think it's growing pains, I think would be a better way to put it.
That's a very salient point. So I do want to kind of get your guys' over-under on whether or not you think Renee Young makes her AEW debut at this event. If
she cannot.
If it's what?
She cannot.
She under a 90-day?
She didn't say 90-day, but she said, I think she said something like fairly long or fairly extensive, something like that. Now, again, that may be Renee trolling the audience, but I think before she even said that, Meltzer or Satine or somebody reported that she had a fairly large and that's not just AEW, Ring of Honor. That's like anybody. So like she can't, as far as I know, she can't just like go and show up on like CBS Sports or Fox Sports or ESPN. I think that this applies like around the bend.
Now, is that
Yeah,
is that like an on-screen personality, or could she show up in the audience and they just happen to catch a glimpse of her watching her husband?
That's a gray area that I'm pretty sure that Tony Khan's not going to want to play with. If we're being real, like Vince and Triple H and Co. showing Britt Baker in the crowd at TakeOver was one thing, but I think that would be something different. I don't know, man. Like, Tony Khan has more money than Vince McMahon. So, like, I'm not saying that he's afraid of him money-wise, but, like, I think between Tony Khan, from Tony Khan to Vince McMahon, I think there's a mutual respect where he doesn't want to try and, like, piss in Vince's yard. I think the closest they came was Jericho and, like, trying to get The Undertaker at StarCast 2 or whatever it was a couple of years ago before Undertaker signed a fucking mammoth deal with WWE. That was probably the closest they've come. I really think that AEW knows that they have to, like, forge their own thing. So it wouldn't shock me if eventually she shows up and becomes like a regular part of the commentary team, like C.A. Shivani. I love you, Tony, but Renee Young's better. But it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, not this soon. I, however, am wondering if Bork Laser shows up.
Oh no!
I didn't even think about him.
Oh,
Is he in the TBD?
Oh no!
He's a free agent.
Everybody. Because let's face it, if Brock Lesnar's going to come into your company, he's going to negotiate a title. Because that's where the money's at. So if Tony Khan wants to bring him in, he's probably going to say, all right, I'll come in, but I'll win this Battle Royal thing. And then at the next event, I won't show up again until the next event. And the next event, I'll win the title.
Lesnar doesn't care about wins and losses, man. Lesnar cares about money and how many days off he gets. Here's the thing, though. I think if you're going to pay out the wazoo for Brock Lesnar, you're going to want to tout that performance, Like, you're going to want to say, hey, don't miss Brock Lesnar at All Out. You don't just want to have it be like, oh my God, Brock Lesnar's here. Because, yes, that would be a huge shock factor.
What's Brock Lesnar doing in the AEW area?
But,
I see your point there, Beef, but wouldn't you want him to show up as a surprise, say, in this Battle Royal, win, and then he's gone for who knows how long, and then at like Double or Nothing, that's when he's going to cash in that win, and that's where you do your big advertising. Because if they're going to play maybe the Vince McMahon game by the next Double or Nothing, when is that?
April or May.
So May. Let's say Tony Khan is banking on saying, okay, we're going to have bigger crowds in May. Let's just say he's hedging his bets on that. Would it not make business sense to bring Bork Laser in now, Brock Lobster, Rex faces in this Battle Royal, win this title opportunity, and then he goes away? He's got that title opportunity. You have time to do whatever you want to do with whoever's going to win that title. You have time to play it out between the champion and whoever. You have time to run storylines. And then at Double or Nothing, that's when you start advertising. Say, okay, we're going to bank on there being bigger crowds. Maybe we're going to bank on there being some sort of vaccine. COVID, again, all boils down to COVID. And we want Bork Laser to win that title at a big event in front of a big crowd. That's going to be in May. There's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. That's where your big money is.
I mean, like Brock Lesnar more so than anybody else is a huge variable. Like, I'm talking huge variable. Like,
So there are two sides to this coin. I'm sorry, go ahead, Poot. You're making
no,
a
you're
point, I'm
fine.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So the two sides of this coin. One is that, again, we know the EVPs of AEW are wrestling fans. Their fingers are on the pulse of the business. They see and hear people's frustration with what Brock Lesnar is, what he was. But there is no denying facts, and that is that Brock Lesnar is an honest-to-God draw.
Yeah.
When he's around, pay-per-view numbers are higher. People buy more when Lesnar's in town. Love him or hate him, he's an attraction. So, I don't know, man. Like, and, like, you know, I read reports that said, you know, AEW has had no contract talks with Brock Lesnar or Renee Young. But, I mean, obviously, you're going to throw that out there to throw people off the trail because you want it to be a huge surprise.
And if you're going to have it be a huge surprise, you're going to keep it, super hush-hush. Ooh, pardon me. Only a few people in AEW are going to know about this, and they're not going to leak it because they're going to want to keep it hush-hush because they're going to want to make their big money, their big surprise on it. And, you know, I don't know. What bigger of a surprise would it be if Brock Lesnar shows up in this TBD slot and just tosses people and wins it?
I just feel like that would not be a service. As big of a draw as Lesnar is, if I'm Tony Khan, you know, you're probably not going to sign Lesnar to a deal because he's probably going to want cajillions of dollars. You're probably going to give him like a per diem, like on a, you know, per appearance basis. So, you know, I wouldn't want to shell out like $2 million for one appearance that you're not going to advertise. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you do lock him in a contract, then yeah, you have a little bit more to play with. But I just, you know, I'm a Brock Lesnar guy. On the podcast, I think that you would argue that I'm the guy that like backs Brock Lesnar the most. I see the most in him, and I do enjoy Brock Lesnar. I just don't think that him and AEW are a good fit. But if Tony Khan thinks that him and eyeballs on the product are a good fit, then, you know, my point and everybody else's viewpoint is irrelevant.
Yeah, but then you're drifting in the Vince McMahon territory where you're just looking for... Now, and I understand AEW's in a different situation where they don't have the amount of viewership versus WWE. Even though they're drifting closer and closer and closer, they could still use that bump. And I just don't want to see it become that, because I feel like Brock Lesnar has that, because you said he is a draw, just him himself is a draw. I'm worried that would then turn into, we got to kowtow to Brock Lesnar.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. The fans of AEW, if they bring in Brock Lesnar and he just starts wrecking shop like that, and he's not like down with the serfs in the mud, like actually having wins and losses and having people contest him and stuff, and he just wins, there's going to be a backlash of epic fucking proportions, and it could ruin AEW.
But I think to that argument, Brock Lesnar, like you said, doesn't care about wins and losses. He cares all about the payday. So I think Brock Lesnar will take all the losses in the world in AEW. If he walks out of there with a loss and a pocket full of money, he doesn't care what that W or L says. I honestly believe that Brock Lesnar probably, if he shows up in AEW for whatever amount of time he's there, 1 year, 2 years, however many times he's there, if he loses every single match but walks away with a fat sack of money, I don't think he cares. I don't think you're going to have the.
How much more money does that fucker need?
I'm going to walk it back.
Want are two different things. But I don't think he's going to be a Goldberg. You know what I mean?
Hold
on for a second. All right, well, hold on. like I don't, Goldberg negotiating wins and losses because Goldberg sees himself as the superhero, and wins and losses mean something to him. I think at the end of the day, wins and losses mean little. It might mean something, but I think it means less than the payday does to Brock Lesnar.
So here's the only thing I'll say. Like, yes,
Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree. I think that Lesnar sees dollars and cents, not wins and losses. But at the same time, you have to be very cognizant, especially whenever you're a guy like Brock Lesnar, of protecting your brand. So right now, he's a guy who has wrecked shop on WWE. And yes, he's lost a couple times. He lost to Rollins twice. He lost to Reigns. He lost to McIntyre. That's pretty much about it. But like, he's known as the guy that's going to show up and be the bull in the china shop. Suddenly, if you show up at AEW, let's say 6 times over the course of 2 years, and you lose 4 out of those 6 matches to guys who are, let's be honest, considerably smaller than WWE guys, I think that hurts your brand as Brock Lesnar, so that you can't then turn around and be like, hey, you know what?
So we're going with the size thing. Fuck you, Pat McAfee.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying though. Like, I at the end of that 2-year contract, you can't then be like, I demand all this money, because people are like, no, man, you got wrecked by fucking Darby Allin, and I'm not. That's a forced a forced example.
I think,
but like
I think they would do a really good job if, let's say, it did come to that with Darby Allin. I think they would do a really good job of making sure that Darby Allin gave Brock Lesnar a fight, but Brock would still come out on top. Like, Brock would come out way worse for wear, but he would still win. Like, I think they would be smart about how they booked Brock Lesnar and how they booked the opponents of Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah, like, they're not going to throw Brock Lesnar in a match with Jungle Boy.
No.
Like, that's not going to happen. They're going to throw their biggest, heaviest hitters in.
Or Tiny McTinerson, who's with them.
Yeah, like they're not going to throw those matches together. They'll put their big guys against Brock Lesnar. Not big as in size, but big as in legit abilities.
The name, right?
Yeah, like they'll put that in. They'll put that in there with him. They won't put just nobodies.
Right.
So I just real quick, I'll throw out my predictions for the TBD. You guys can or not, I don't care. This is just absolute fantasy booking, but I think you get 2 big surprises, one temporary, one kind of permanent, a goofy guy, and then a return. So I think we see like the Hurricane as like the goofy guy, or like Glacier or somebody.
Oh, Glacier would be great. Glacier
Both of them have been
awesome.
involved before. Glacier would be a good one, because he was in, I think, the last one.
I would love Glacier to be in there.
I think that fuck, I lost my train of thought. So Glacier, I think, would be or Hurricane. One of the 2 of them would be the goofy ones. Yep. I think you'd see, maybe, because who are we not talking about? Who are we not mentioned in months about AEW and one of the fucking biggest free agents of all time, but CM Punk. So I think that would be a great find for them.
I don't
realistically. You don't.
Dude, that is the most fantasy booked fantasy of all fantasy times. I don't think.
You don't think he'll ever show up there, or just not at this
ever?
one?
I don't think it's. Well, to be fair, the media, the press has died down on Punk. So I mean, it's
so wouldn't
feasible.
now be the time to bring him in, because there's not a whole lot of buzz?
Well, no, and
surprise.
that was going to be my point, is that it's like, oh, okay, well, the buzz has died down, so it's within the realm of somewhat feasibility, but I just don't see it happening, and I really hope I'm wrong. I'm sitting here freely admitting that I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Because if Punk's in there, Punk has to win. Punk has to win.
Punk and Lesnar are like my long shots. The one that I think could actually happen would be Tessa Blanchard. Would not shock me to see her come in, and would not shock me to see her come in and win. And the other would be a returning Pac, if you will.
Pac.
Now, I know that travel shit, visas and all that are still kind of murky with COVID because nothing's getting better over here. So people that are like safe in other countries are like, oh, fuck no, I'm not going to jeopardize that. But,
Oh yeah.
you know, it's not outside the realm of believability. So you know, that's those are my thoughts. Do it as you will.
No, that's interesting.
I mean, those are interesting points, and like I'm excited to see. Now, when is All Out? Just
Saturday
for folks
night.
who are listening.
Yes, Saturday.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what time. Probably no. They
like 7 or 8
on TV. I think the kickoff starts at like fuck. I think it starts at 7. Starts proper.
That's
yeah,
the kickoff, not the regular show.
Let me see what CBS Sports
And
has to say.
that's on Bleacher Report. # not sponsored.
8 p.m. 8 p.m. pay-per-view starts.
Oh.
BR Live for $49.99. Save $10.
That's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be so good. How much?
$49.99 versus traditional pay-per-view, which is $59.99.
Fucking gimmick stealers.
You bastards!
Bastards
Damn
stealing
BR
our gimmick.
Live.
No, I'm
But also BR Live. Give us a call. We'll talk.
Dudes, I'm absolutely like hyped for this show. It's like I've got a day on the road, and then I'm gonna come back and get to watch a killer pay-per-view. I'm so hyped, I can't handle it. Like, it's gonna be a good one. This is gonna be something special. I can feel it in my bones.
I agree. I think we're in for a really, really great night.
Absolutely. Well, what do you guys say we wrap this up in a nice little burrito? Ransom, why don't you do your ransom thing and go ahead and tell the sponsors and all the sponsors and sponsors.
You want me to do this? Because it never goes well.
Well, I know, but that's part of the charm. Do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to think of who they are.
You
That one.
to say this to Dennis Leary?
We want to thank you to
Sit on it.
Fleshlight.com.
You going? Okay. All right. So YouPorn. Thank you for the Wait, no, that's not right. Casual Gaming Dad, Tiger Bomb Tom. Thank you for doing
like
things and
YouPorn.
stuff. It is. It's kind of like YouPorn for video games. So check it out. It's free. Look at them. Watch them do stuff. It's fun things. John Tischler with IWC in Clearfield. They do drive-in shows because, hell, do that as opposed to, watching people's buttholes on freaking WWE Screenomania, brother. It's better. Do those things. So thank you to the sponsors. Buy a shirt off of Casual Gaming Dad's Corner page with Gould Gaming. They do things as well. And send that $49.99 our way. Bleacher Report. Yeah, stealing jumper mumble rolls.
Stupid jumper mumbles. All right.
Yeah, the jumper mumbles.
Thank you very
You heard him.
Thank you very much, Ransom. Great. Thank you very much. This has been a great episode. We're going to see how things play out. Maybe, just maybe, things are going to come down to the NXT pay-per-view. Who knows? We'll find out.
I'm doubting that. I'm in complete confidence that at the end of AEW, Beef has it locked in. I don't think we're going to win. I picked some out there picks just for funsies, but I'm not expecting to win any of these picks, at least not enough to make any sort of difference.
Hey, man, it's all about...
truly believe that Beef walks away with it. If not Beef, I don't think Poot and I split it. I think it goes to Poot.
Hey, man, it's all in funsies. Thank you very much for listening to an episode of the P3 podcast. We've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you have too. Thank you to Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut,
Bomb
you boys.
Tom for coming on in and hanging out with us for a little bit. We appreciate that as well. Always good to see his face or hear his ears or whatever you do. And
What do you hear?
make sure, if you're listening to this on YouTube, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the P3 podcast page. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody to listen to.
How'd your mom? How'd your kids? How'd your wife?
Make sure to listen to a wrestling podcast, the P3 podcast. I'm done saying Pennsylvania's premier podcast because it's wrestling. So listen to a wrestling podcast from Pennsylvania. Also, you can check us out. If you don't watch on YouTube, you can listen to us anywhere you find your glorious podcasts on Google Play, Spotify. You can find us over on Anchor, any of those places. Make sure you
The biggest
like
one,
us.
Apple Podcasts.
Oh, sure. The
Can't find us there.
actually, no, we're not on Apple Podcasts. Actually,
I know we're not. That's why I said you can't find us there.
yeah, I know. You gotta
should.
have. Listen, we gotta have the numbers. We gotta up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. We gotta up those to get on Apple Podcasts and all that.
Hey, do some subscribing and some liking. Let's get onto Apple Podcasts so maybe we can reach more than 12 people.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be super duper. And
Who listens to Spotify?
and a lot of people and
Now.
people who are on
Well.
Droid because it does. And the make sure you go on over to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, and give us a like while you're over there. Comment, tell us we're stupid, tell us you like us, tell us ... to show indifference, and give us a thumbs up, like an Orange Cassidy thumbs up, like a little tiny nubby one. Not like Tiger Bomb Tom has with his tripod, but more like
there it is.
like Beef does. Little nubby boy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's kawaii, right? Anyway, thank you guys for listening. For Mr. Beef the Legend, for your future reigning, defending, undisputed Cruiserweight champion, Mr. Alec Ransom, and myself, the longest reigning and the most reigning Cruiserweight champion, Poot the Bard, and Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom as well. Have a wonderful evening, night, day, whenever you're deciding to listen to this podcast.
Fuck you.
Suck it.
Fuck you, Chuck. Fuck off.